If we can make them forget that they have these powers, that they never learned them, then maybe they could have a normal life and the demon will disappear. But the demon does not disappear, everyone.
Nope.
Spoilers.
Nope. He's back. He's back with a vengeance.
What is up, freaks and geeks, and welcome to this first monumental event. We have two of the three final guys here of Corpses for Conversation podcast. I, of course, SoCal Leatherface, and I'm sitting here with the one, the only, Dymebag the Clown.
What is up, people?
Dymebag, we are finally on YouTube, man.
Finally.
That means that we made it. We're famous now.
You get to see this ugly face. Look at this face. Look at this face, people.
Just one of many videos. What movie do we got going on today, Dymebag?
We got Insidious 5, The Red Door. Or Insidious, The Red Door.
I know, they kind of went with like the whole chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. Then they did the last key. I thought the last key was going to be the last, but then they said, nope, they're going to come back. And now it's The Red Door.
Yeah, well, was it chapter 4 and chapter 5 were just prequels, I believe, to the first one. Well, this one is actually taking you back. It's a continuation from part 3, which is chapter 3 was the last one where we see the Lambert family. So now we're 13 years later. We're seeing what happened to the Lambert family, and I guess their memory was erased from hypnotherapy, and now things start opening up again.
I haven't seen the chapter 2 or 3 in a minute. Did they mention that in the films that they got their memories erased? I thought that was how the movies ended.
It starts in the beginning of this one. They show how they're in their therapy office and they're doing the hypnotherapy.
Yeah, the hypnotist.
Yeah, but I'm not really sure if they showed that at the end of 3. I'm trying to remember because it's been a while.
It is a continuation. So here we are, Insidious Chapter 5, The Red Door. This film just came out. It's a couple weeks old. It's rated PG-13, just like all of the rest. Directed by Patrick Wilson on this one. This is his first film that he's ever directed. I went to check to see if he did anything else. And I mean, you know Patrick Wilson. He's been in like so many movies. I really like him in Watchmen. I'm a big fan of the Conjuring franchise. I never even knew he was the one that directed this film before watching it. And of course, written by Lee Wynell. He's been along for the entire ride.
Ghostface produced it or written?
Oh yeah, no.
Lee Wynell?
That's a different one. He is the writer of all of the Insidious films. He was one of the major writers in Saw, and he's an actor that is in these films as well. He also wrote 2020's The Invisible Man remake, which I didn't really. I mean, I don't know. I didn't really feel it too much. I mean, it was okay. It's funny because I went to the actual Hollywood premiere of it and I was in the room with the writer and I'm just like, hey, that's cool. That's the guy from Saw.
Yeah, I think it was around that time where they were trying to reboot all the Universal monsters. And so they were trying to give it that modern twist. It was good. I mean, it was what it was. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. They were trying to make that whole thing about an abusive relationship. And that's kind of like the shift in times in movies that we've been seeing. Like they kind of have these really dark pasts, these really deep stories that are really tormenting the main character. Kind of close to what we're doing today. This film, like you said, they got their memories erased, and that's how we start the film. And it seems like the rest of this movie is just them remembering who they were, remembering the powers that they possessed. It's a father and son journey, really, on this one.
So I didn't know if I mentioned it was 13 years after part 3. So now Dalton is all grown up. You know, he's 19 and he's off to college. So you get that sense that it's that father and son relationship where he's a 19-year-old. He's like, okay, I don't give a shit.
Yeah. At the same time, the father and the mother, they went through a divorce. In between here. So a lot of Dalton's rebelliousness against his father has to do with their divorce. So that's another matter that people deal with today that they wanted to put in here and touch on. I really thought it was messed up just to find out. It seemed like she divorced him because she said that ever since the hypnotism, he hasn't been himself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's not his fault. You know, he forgot, you know, and like he's spending this whole time searching, like there's just something missing. There's something not right.
So wait, the one thing I didn't get about the movie, it's the son and the father were hypnotized to erase that memory of what happened, but the mom wasn't?
I believe not. It was just them two because they're the ones that can step into the further. They're the ones that can go out of their bodies. So they figured if we can make them forget that they have these powers, that they never learned them, then maybe they could have a normal life and the demon will disappear. But the demon does not disappear, everyone.
Yep.
Spoilers.
He's back. He's back with a vengeance.
One of the things I have to appreciate about this film, like we said, the first film came out in 2010. It is now 2023. It's 13 years later, like you mentioned, but we're still able to get back at least the main, 5, 6 cast members, the main family with Patrick Wilson, his wife. We got Dalton. We literally seen this kid grow up through these films, which is crazy for him to want to continue as this character. He's probably heard a lot about it growing up. Hopefully he got to do a lot of autographs and horror conventions like we see like the young actresses from Megan get to do now. Hopefully all this stuff has left a good impression on him, allowing him to want to come back. The original movie was actually directed by James Wan, who did The Saw and The Conjuring.
Yeah, he was a producer in this one. Pretty sure he produced all of them. Yeah, James Wan, Blumhouse.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the franchise. When I've seen the first Insidious, that movie freaked me out, man. When they were in the further and you're starting to see those mannequins, but the mannequins are like coming to life. Oh man,
they didn't have that in this one though. That's the problem. That's what I was missing. They did not show enough of the thirder in this movie. Yeah, I was disappointed by that. Then in this movie, you were actually bringing in a little bit more humor to it. There was a lot of moments.
Yeah, you could definitely tell it was a different director that was behind it. It was still, don't get me wrong, it was cinematic. It was awesome with the things you've seen. Dalton painting and you see that red door.
Yes.
The way they even show that red door in the darkness with that little red hue light just flickering there. And in a big theater, when that thing's right in front of you, it draws you in. It does.
And a lot of this movies has that red tint to it.
So there were a few surprises in this film, pleasant surprises, because we all know that Lin Shaye's character, Elise Rayner, she passed away in one of the previous films. But to see her come back in this film, that was awesome, because it just wouldn't be an Insidious film if it didn't have her in it. And you actually get to see her 2 partners that she'd worked with when they look them up on YouTube. And
by the way, folks, there will be spoilers.
We do have some spoilers. But yes, when they look it up on YouTube, I thought it was cool that you do see the characters' names are Specs and Tucker.
Yeah.
And Specs is Lee Wynell.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he gets to be in his movies. That's pretty cool.
And they first appeared, I believe, in the second one, right?
With the team, yeah.
Yeah, with the team, the paranormal team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was great to see Lin Shaye in there again. I love her. She's an absolute gem. I've met her a couple times at conventions, and she's one of the sweetest ladies you can meet. Just super humble. What you see on screen, that's what you basically get with her.
It's funny. The first film that I ever seen her in was Detroit Rock City, where she plays the main character's over-controlling, overburdening, super Christian mother. Right. And she's just yelling at him the whole time. It gave me a bad impression of her when I first seen it. Man, this chick's mean, dude.
Well, I think my earliest one was There's Something About Mary. And she's like the mom, all sunburned up.
Yes.
With the sagging boobs.
Dude, I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
She was hilarious in that.
Definitely in this Red Door film, compared to the other previous Insidious films, I really feel like we didn't get enough of the further. Going along the typical Insidious trend, they really relied heavily on jump scares, because when you do a PG-13 horror movie, you can't show the gore, you can't really show the blood, you got to get them in somehow. And it's usually just a very loud jump scare. And the volume, at least in the theater I was in, you could tell they're really trying to scare you. You just have to wait for the moment when it's going to happen.
That's the whole James Wan universe. Any movie that James Wan does and Blumhouse does, very heavy on jump scares. Also, this is probably one of the first movies I actually went blind into. I did not see no trailers for it. I maybe saw one trailer, and it was a TV trailer. I was surprised by this jump scares. When you don't watch a trailer for a movie, a lot of these trailers these days, they're giving way too much away. That's why I kind of like this movie, because I didn't watch the trailer.
No, exactly. Same here. Or maybe I only seen one trailer for this when I was going to the theaters, but it's not something that I tried to study up on, look up a bunch of interviews, look up a bunch of spoilers. I was just kind of going in there blank, and I was just expecting an Insidious film. Like I said, when I going in, I didn't even know that Patrick Wilson was the one that directed it. I thought we were still under James Wan. I thought he'd come back and he's gonna go ahead and just continue with the directing. Even when it's starting, I couldn't even tell that it wasn't directed by him. It still gave off those vibes.
And a little cute fun fact that I know about this movie. You notice the college was named after Jane Pierce, former First Lady. You know what Jane Pierce was famous for, right?
Dummy.
She was a famous occultist that would have seances inside the White House.
Oh, dang.
Yes.
Which president was the one that was down to see what's going on? I mean,
that's why you stay in school, kids. Then you would know.
Storyline. Dalton is now in college. He has a falling out with his father. He doesn't really want to spend time with him, but at the same time, you find out he doesn't really want to spend time with his mother either. He's kind of closed off to everything. He's always listening to music. He doesn't have any friends. He's put all of his emotions into his artistic abilities, which is why he's going to college for art. And I thought that was pretty cool. I respect people that are really good artists. I thought that was really cool. They chose to make him an artist because in the earlier films when he was a kid, it all started with those crayon drawings.
Exactly.
And now you could see that with this trauma and story that he's been through, he's been able to produce these like amazing paintings. I'm a big fan of that painting that he does in the film. If there was like a print of that, I would get a poster of that painting.
Yeah, they should have gave that out with AMC or something. You know how AMC does the posters that they give out? That should have been that.
I'm thinking that might be the steel case cover.
I will get that. I'm sorry, TJ. I'm not a big physical media collector, but for that, I will definitely buy.
As you all know, TJ is our resident physical media collector. I mean, I have some as well, but he has way more than all of us. So Dalton gets to college. He ends up having some sort of mix up with his room, which brings into our secondary character in this, Dalton's now new friend. I believe that her name was Chris.
It was Chris, I know for sure, because they thought she was a dude.
Yeah. He's like, oh, I thought that I was going to have a male roommate. And she's like, oh, yeah, well, because no one ever gets Dalton confused. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, is Dalton a girl's name? It's like this big misunderstanding. His roommate walks in. She's like the life of the party. All these other characters are really depressed. She's making everybody laugh. Her character is just out there. I think she even mentions that she has ADHD. She's very talkative. She's very open. She's very expressive. She's not shy to say things that may offend or do things that may offend, but that's awesome. That makes you just like a colorful, creative character. She was definitely a favorite character of mine. She was so willing to jump on board as soon as she found out that Dalton may have psychic powers and able to go into the ghost realm. She was just all about it. But as soon as things went sour and then she gets caught up one time, I thought it was kind of funny how she just didn't even want to speak to him anymore, like it was his fault. It wasn't his fault.
Yeah, she was just creeped out. Creeped out that when he first finds out that he has this power to astral project, he walks into her room and she sees that little keyboard, low key or something. I don't know what that was. He plays it and she thinks it's a ghost. She's freaked out. So he goes running off.
Yeah. The thing is that earlier when she asks him if he wants to try her instrument, he plays a song and he says, oh, that's a song that my mom made. So when he goes to her room in astral projection, he plays that same song. She's already knows who it is, but she didn't know that he was a ghost at that time. That's when he lets her in. Things just start getting more crazy from there because Dalton is making this painting. Both him and his father had an awakening that is making these memories come back. And it seems that it happens when they get to a point where they start counting down. When the art teacher is counting down from 10 and telling him to open his mind, that's starting to give him these visions. And I like how you start to see the red door first, but he's just not sure what it is that is the monster in the painting.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was going to be like the red-faced demon. That's what I was thinking for most of it until we get further in.
Once you get past that door, the demon has you. And so, I mean, you only see the demon like once in this movie, which I was totally disappointed about, especially not hearing the song. You hear the song for a couple seconds, Tiptoe Through the Tulips by Tiny Tim. Stiff Kittens, that's her favorite song. I mean, she freaks out every time she hears that damn song.
Make it her ringtone and then call her. Just like record what happens.
Oh, she would kill me. She would literally kill me.
There were a couple things in this film they just had to put in because it's just canon. They had to put in that song. They probably weren't even thinking about putting in that exact demon. It could have been any demon, but they wanted to make it that same one that just has this obsession with him. And I feel like they just put it in there for the canon.
He's an aging demon, and it's to the point where he's like, I need you. I need this soul. I need this energy. Kind of like the whole Michael Myers thing. It's like, I need that energy to live. I need to take these souls to live.
No, you know what? You're absolutely right. Or like that whole Freddy Krueger thing. He feeds on the fear. But because Dalton's been gone for so long, he looks like he's more crawling around, like he's a little more withered away. He's not up to full power yet. So while Dalton is dealing with college and all the crazy stuff that goes along with that, his father is now also getting back his memories. He's being haunted by a ghost. He finds out it's his father. His father's ghost comes back to him. He thought that his father left as a child. So this is really a daddy issue type film. Two fathers fathers, two different issues. One of them being because of divorce, one of them being because they left when I was a kid. That's the direction they're going with this.
Yeah, it turns out, according to people, he was mentally ill. Back in the day, they just throw him in a mental institution. That's what they did with his father. Instead of telling their child, yeah, your dad's cuckoo, they tell him he died. He died. But in all reality, he was stuck in the further.
Yeah, because he also would astral project. And I guess he tried maybe telling his wife, and then maybe she's the one that committed him. She had him put in there. She thought he was crazy. That's like a dirty secret that they all had to hide.
Very dirty.
So Patrick Wilson realizes that Dalton's in trouble. They're both getting their powers back. Dalton's the one that's searching in there because he's trying to find out why the ghost of a sorority house is haunting. He's trying to find out the answers of the red door. He keeps dipping in, which is the thing that got him in trouble to begin with. If you found out you could leave your body, why would you want to go so far away from your body? You could find yourself never waking up and never coming back. That has bad news all over it for me. He ends up getting taken. Again, the demon possesses Dalton. He finally got what he's been doing this whole franchise. He wanted to possess a body. He finally got a body. So now it's all up to Patrick Wilson to get back into the further. He has to fight the demon again. He has to save Dalton again. He gets to have that father-son moment that they forgot, and then now they're going to remember.
Well, now all those memories are coming back to Dalton, where he thought his dad was trying to kill him. In all reality, when Patrick Wilson went nuts and tried to kill the whole family.
Yeah, I believe that was chapter 2. Yeah, the cover of the film is the mom holding on to the two sons, kind of like how they recreated in this film.
But now Dalton's realizing that his dad was the one that tried to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
So now he sees his dad in the further. He's afraid of him. He's like, I don't want to go with you. You know, his dad's in there trying to rescue him. He's like, no, I'm not going with you. He's like, that wasn't me. That was the demon.
I thought it was so messed up when he's talking to his now ex-wife, when she tells him the truth that he got his memory taken away. She tells him what the kid's seen, that he was possessed, and he's like, but it wasn't me. But she just makes him feel so guilty about it. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, that's what the kid's seen. The kids didn't understand. They seen you. So it's 100% his fault for something that's out of his control. I don't know. I felt that was really messed up. Dang, they're really giving this guy a hard time. He lost his parents. He lost his marriage. He lost the relationship with his children. And you just want to like jab him more? Give the guy a break.
There are some relationships out there that are like that. You'd be surprised.
So they're able to overcome the demon. The father, son, they team up together. They're able to destroy the evil like we all knew. Dalton gets back into his body. We think Patrick Wilson sacrifices himself because he's trying to keep the red door closed. And he figures like, this is the way it has to be. This ends with me. That's like such a powerful statement that he says. This ends here, which is what his father tried to do when the demon took him over as well. It's like, you want to try to save your children. You want to try to stop this curse that's been going on. And he feels that this is the way I have to do it. I have to spend my eternity stuck here holding this door shut so my kids can be free from this curse. But Dalton ends up finding another way. And he's like, if this painting is the connection, what if I just get rid of it? What if I just black it out? What if I take it away and it starts to work? And it's just cool. You see that black paint just oozing off.
Yeah, that was amazing. He's just painting over it.
Yeah.
That was pretty badass. Kind of simple, but this isn't a superhero movie. We're going to have amazing special effects and amazing fight scenes. Something as simple as painting over a red door with black paint is going to destroy a demon.
No, exactly. The messages were really powerful. When Dalton paints over the entire painting and it's all black, and his friend Chris tells him, we got to get rid of it. We got to destroy it. And he's just like, no, we have to learn to live with it. Don't run away from your past. Don't run away from your trauma. Just learn to live with it and be comfortable with it and always remember it. But just always remember you have it in control.
Exactly.
And then there you go. End of the film. We have this awesome song, which was performed by Ghost featuring Patrick Wilson on the vocals.
Yeah, and it's an amazing song. It's a very heartfelt song. I love it. It's actually a cover song by Shakespeare's sister. That's the name of the band, called Stay With Me.
I believe it's just called Stay, but
I mean,
he does keep saying that over and over. The lyrics are simple, but the feeling is there. It's a pretty deep song. I really enjoyed it.
Very, very emotional song. Perfect song for the ending of this movie. Will there be another one? Possibly. This one actually has an end credit scene where you do see the door in the further. The door is painted black, but that light right on top, the light starts to flicker again. Could there be a part 6 coming? Who knows? This movie had a budget of $16 million. Opening weekend, it took in $33 million. Ooh. As of right now, as we're speaking, worldwide gross is $122.5 million.
Man, now that is hitting up the bank, dude.
Yes.
This movie is doing great in the theaters. And with that, what would you give this movie if we were to create some type of a rating, maybe between 1 and 5? What do you think, man? How many red doors do you give this film?
That's what I was about to say. How many red doors? All right. It was a great directorial debut by Patrick Wilson. I had fun watching this movie. Jump scares were amazing. It's a fun movie. It's altogether a fun movie. Do you have to see it in theater? Probably not. You can wait till it comes out on Netflix, but give Patrick Wilson your money, man. I'd give it a 3 out of 5 red doors.
It's a very fair, right in the middle. And I mean, for me, I have to agree with you, Don. It is an Insidious film. It does give you that same feel of it. The way it's shot, the entire ambiance, it gives away everything that an Insidious film needs, including the jump scares that you've expected and learned to love over the years. Like I said, you get all the original cast back, including some that we lost. They came back just to make a cameo, and that's great. I could see myself watching this film again, throwing on the franchise, wanting to just start from one and work my way through. I could definitely see myself revisiting this one. I gotta agree, and I'm giving this film 3 out of 5 red doors. Now, me and Dime were talking previous to recording, and this movie doesn't really have gore. It has a couple gross scenes, if you want to say that. You see like some throw up. So we both agree that this score is gonna be 1. It's gotta be a half point.
Half splatter.
Exactly. It's really non-existent, but this film, it's a good time. If you want to wait for it to come out to streaming, I wouldn't blame you. You're not going to miss much. It's not one that you have to rush to go see, but if you're a huge fan of the franchise and you choose to go see it, you won't feel like you wasted your money. It's a great addition to the franchise.
And if you do go see it in the theater, go check it out in Adobe Theater, where you have that amazing surround sound and you hear the sound effects in the background, the stuff that you miss that they add in the atmosphere.
Oh, definitely, man. They give like the more intense colors, the louder speakers, everything together. It just creates this crazy feeling all around you, and it helps you really immerse yourself into the films that you're watching. I definitely agree with that. But freaks and geeks, I guess we're going to be putting our first ever YouTube live edition of Corpses for Conversation with 2 of your 3 final guys to a conclusion. So from us here at Corpses for Conversation, I'm SoCal Leatherface.
Dymebag there. Whoa. Fuck me, it was going so good. Do that again.
I'm SoCal Leatherface.
Dymebag Clown.
Be kind and rewind. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.